Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to carry. Missed it last night. Buccaneers come back. Last 7 minutes or so, Brady leads them back. Bad clock management by the New Orleans Saints, who ruined the best uniform in football last night by wearing those damn black helmets. That all white old school look that they have, in my opinion, is the best uniform in football. But for some reason, they didn't wear the gold helmets with them. So anyway, today we got Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. You can listen to Buddy every weeknight, Monday through Friday, about 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook Live. Gators tomorrow play the UConn Huskies, who's like number 4 or 5 in America. Very good basketball team. So we'll see how that all pans out. We got a lot to talk about with Buddy. Let's make sure Buddy's not in the transfer portal. He could be. Good morning, Buddy Martin. How are you? You're on the Titan More Hotline.
Good morning, Shane, to you. And I don't know what it looks like inside the portal, but right now it's kind of a big black hole with over 800. What is it, over 1,000 now? Shane, do you have a calculator anymore? Nobody has calculators. They have their phones, but got to start counting because I'm lost on the number, but I got a general idea, and I will say this, I'll give you credit. You've been saying this the whole time, that it's time for a change. And Shane, did you ever see the movie Junction?
I did not. I don't think I did.
It's a famous movie. It's about Bear Bryant.
Oh, that movie. Yeah, I saw some. I saw it. Yeah.
Where he took 2 busloads of players to out to Junction, small place in Junction, Texas, and they brought 13 or 14 players back. And that was his team. That was a complete house. Now that was brutality. You could never get away with that today. What they did. Gene Sullivan was one of them, by the way. And so this is a different kind of Junction. This is without, the real beating them up and running them off kind of stuff. But it is its own way, the same kind of thing. And you've recommended this, and you've been saying it the whole time that it's time for a turnover. And boy, we got a turnover. Do we ever?
Not just us, it's every team.
Sure.
And the bad thing, I mean, it's going to be a good thing for the Gator football program. Trust me on that. The bad thing, though, is there's going to be a ton of kids that don't have an opportunity, whether they're Gators, whatever school they play for. They're not going to get signed by another school. The facts are the facts. Last year, only 28% found a new home. We got a question here. We're going to have a bunch of these today, I'm sure. John asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law. QB, if you had your pick of Devin Leary, Sam Hartman, Grayson McCall, or Austin Reed, who would you take? Austin Reed is not in the mix. The other ones are in the mix. I would also add Michael Pratt from Tulane. He is a really good player, and he's got several years left. He's from the state of Florida, about a 6'2", 215, 220. Really good thrower of the football. So I don't know any of those guys. But I have a feeling it's going to be Michael Pratt, is my guess.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just have a gut feeling. I watched him play Saturday too, and boys, he threw for 400-something yards on UCF. People are going to sit here and say he plays in a lesser league. No, you got to watch the tape. Same thing about Montrell Johnson, Osiris Torrance. They played in a league lesser than that one. Mm-hmm. So Dan says Shane QB DJU is saying he has an offer from Florida. I don't know how that's possible, Dan. I'm not seeing that, but look, all I can say is this. I have been told, not by any coach, but somebody close to the program, we are going after somebody who's thrown for a bunch of yards, who can process information, who can throw accurately, who can lead and run an offense. Okay. That crosses off the kid from Clemson. I mean, there's no way. There's no way that's going to happen. No way.
Well, I've decided this, Shane. I'm not going to be a pretend like I know this because I don't. And some of the quarterbacks that names you're throwing out, really, quite frankly, most of us hadn't heard of 2 weeks ago. So how can we possibly be instant experts on who's the best for Billy's system? I don't know. I know Drake May is a name you mentioned. He's apparently not interested in coming. I don't know.
Well, it's not he's not interested. He's going to end up at Alabama. I'm pretty sure of that.
All right. Well, you have inside information, and I defer to you at all matters of quarterback because you know the position. I don't know who the best is. We'll see. And so I see the guy looks like recruiting. This is the bonanza I said last night on my show. This is Christmas, New Year's, July 4th, Kwanzaa, every holiday you could have for guys who are geeks and freaks about recruiting and obtaining talent, etc. This is all happening at one time. It's so happening so fast and so furious that most of us can't keep up. So I have to have a filter, and you're my filter. If you say, look, this guy at Tulane is really the bomb, I'm going to go look at it and see what difference does it make other than I do a show. I don't like to comment on players I haven't seen. And quite frankly, we have a lot of instant experts out there on the internet. Now, Dan's a very cautious guy. He makes a study of people. But let's be honest, you can't have a Twitter account and have 25 players and be an expert on quarterbacks. I'm sorry. But we'll find out. And I like what you're saying about the kind of quarterback they're going to get, like everybody else. I just want to know who it is.
Well, I don't know who it is either. I'm just out of the people that people just mentioned, I've watched them all play. Mm-hmm. I'm a college football junkie. I watch every game there is. I watch other games when they're not live. The Devin Leary kid from NC State's a very good player. I'm surprised he's not going in the draft. The NFL people are very high on him, but he's an accurate thrower. He's played a lot of football. Grayson McCall's won a lot of games at Coastal Carolina. Michael Pratt, Sam Hartman. These are guys. It's not the difference, I think, buddy, and I do agree with you because kids coming that we're recruiting out of high school, we don't get to see them on TV, maybe every now and then if they're playing in one of those deals on ESPN, but we don't know. What we do know about those guys, they won a lot of games, they throw for a bunch of yards, and they know how to win football games. That's what we do know at the collegiate level. Whether it's at a Power 5, Group of 5, or whatever, they have won. A lot of people are saying that DJU tweet is from when he came out of high school a few years ago.
That makes sense.
So yeah, there's no way.
Just because somebody says it, Shane, doesn't mean it's so.
No. But I saw some tweets about it, but I didn't look at it closely.
Right.
But some of our listeners who are on the Twitter feed all the time said it's from a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, he's not in the mix. At least, Lord, I hope he's not. Andy asked a good question here, buddy, for you. When the Colorado Buffaloes roll into the swamp in 2028, will Deion be on the sidelines?
I think he might. And I got to tell you, I know a little about Colorado. I've spent a long time there and covered the Buffaloes back when they had Bill McCartney and used to do a talk show with him. And I can tell you that the one missing element, other than money, but they can get money, is the fact that they couldn't get enough players. And Bill McCartney changed that. Remember, he had like a season where he won, I think he didn't win a game. And he went out to Texas and California and started getting players. And even Samoa, as you know, whatever. And he did a great recruiting. Bill McCartney's an impressive guy, and what he was. Unfortunately, he's not well now. But I mean, when he got the recruits, he began winning again. He won that co-championship with Georgia Tech that year. National championship back when they couldn't decide. So that, and I don't have, look, I know you're dubious about Deion, and I am a little too, but I got to say, from what I'm hearing from a lot of people who are knowledgeable fans who know Deion well, who followed him, particularly the younger people who like him, if he solves the talent problem recruiting in Colorado, they got a good program going there. Now, Folsom, I've been to Folsom Field hundreds of times, whatever. It's a great place, great atmosphere, but it's no SEC. But I do think it's going to be interesting, shall we say, experiment that I think whether Deion can come in just, by the way, now, he didn't just walk off the street. He coached 3 years. So let's give him that. Let's give him an opportunity. There's lots of reasons not to like Deion and to be offended by his style, but you got to give it up to this guy. Now, he's done it the right way in this regard. Let's see how the portal goes. He'll probably have 50 people today the portal if he wants them. So that's part of the game today, the way it's played.
John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law. He says, Willie Taggart's joining Deion's staff. That tells me everything I need to know.
Poor Willie, he's become a favorite punching bag of Gator fans, hasn't
he? Yeah, there's no doubt about that. We'll see. They open up with TCU next. The good thing about Colorado is that UCLA and USC, I think, only have one more year with them in the league, and then he's got to deal with what's that?
Yeah, that whole thing changes, right? The conference.
Yeah, good luck beating Utah, Deion. Good luck. All right,
so good luck have Billy beating Utah next year too. Those guys are good, and they're not just.
Beat them. We beat them this year. We're going to beat them next year.
They did. That's a great win too. Number 8 team in the country. They beat them. Just couldn't beat many others.
Text on the Titan Mar text line. Josh from Mississippi says, would you rather have the early bowl game we have or a later game at the end of December? Twitterverse is debating this. I think early game gives Billy more recruiting time, but we lose some practice. Your thought? The whole practice thing is overrated, in my opinion, about the bowl games. I like us going ahead and playing, but I know that it's screwed up our recruiting because early signing day, I believe, is December 17th, the day we play. I could be wrong. I know people here know this better than I do. But I do know that's kind of a problem for us. But the 15 practices, I've never bought into that because here's the thing, buddy. Buddy Martin's our young quarterback. Buddy goes out and practices for 15 days, plays in a bowl game, and you don't do a damn thing for 4, 5, 6 months. It's not like you're practicing and you're going to roll into a season.
Right.
So, I mean, is it good to get game tape and kind of learn from it? Yes. But I've never, as a player, bought into that. It's great because we get our young players 15 more practices. Well, hell, you just practice about 200 times in a year. Are those 15 more practices going to make you that much better? That's just my personal opinion. It ain't right or it ain't wrong, but that's just how I feel about it.
Shane, did you like practice? You were not exactly fond of practice.
I've never liked practice in my entire life. If anybody likes practice, they're crazy as hell.
Well, they all say that's where you make your bones in practice.
Well, that's true, but practicing, I mean, it's what you have to do as part of the job description, but it ain't fun. But here's what's crazy about the game of football. I mean, think about this, buddy. It is pretty much a year-round sport.
Yeah.
You may get 3 or 4 total weeks off in an entire year. And you practice and you run and you lift. And you are only guaranteed to perform 12 times. Think about that. Whereas in basketball and baseball, you're playing 40, 50-something games.
Baseball, you're playing every day, it seems like.
Yeah. But it's crazy when you think about the time you put into it, but you only have 12 actual games, maybe a few more. Vander says, sure, I wouldn't say I like the present state of affairs. I want homegrown guys play homegrown football. Where's Ray Graves when we need him?
I don't know what that means. That either.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, I know Ray Graves had a lot of guys in Florida, and he put an emphasis on graduating his players, which he did a great job on. And there are a lot of guys around the old school, like Gene Peak, Wayne Call, etc., Spurrier, whatever. I'll tell you that he had his flaws, but he took care of his players, and he really wanted them to get education. They said, without it, I don't know that Spurrier would ever graduate. I mean, look, to be honest, some of us didn't graduate, but yeah. So I think that's what he means, but I don't know.
Text from Daryl says, "Good morning, Shane. The Saints helmets were hideous. Please know DJU from Clemson. Go Gators." Thanks for the text. One more here before we move on from Chris and Cottondale on the Titan Mar text line. Since Buddy defers to you about QB situations now, can he finally get on board about AR instead of dying on a hill about how he's the guy to make us great? I know your feelings on Jeff Sims. I agree as a starter. Do you think he would be a serviceable backup to a package and get us through a rough patch, but not the long haul. No, absolutely not. I think they're going to get one guy in the portal, as I said, that has played football and won games and produced. And then you got the Rashada kid that can come in, and we'll see how he goes as a true freshman. Maybe he plays a little bit. Maybe they redshirt him. But I don't think you get two guys out of the portal. I don't. I bet, like I said, I want everybody to understand. I have no inside information. I'm just from what I watch and what I would do and what I hope happens. Anyway, there you have that.
Well, you want me to respond
buddy,
to that since he brought it up to me? I mean,
oh, I forgot about that, buddy. Yeah, I'll let you respond. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I don't have much to say. I'm not dying on the hill. I just have an opinion, and you know, I have history on my side, and I don't know everything, and I've learned something every day, and I defer to Shane. But in my opinion, you don't get a talent like Anthony Richardson very often. And I just say it's a shame that, and it's the system, it's the way it is, nobody's fault, that he couldn't finish up here and see how good he could be. Because we'll really never know. And here's the sad part. Anthony Richardson now becomes a mere footnote in Florida football history when he could have possibly been a statue. That's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. Brandon says, Shane, other than a roster improvement on that side of the ball, I guess he's talking about offense. Is there anything else you would like to see improve on the defensive side of the ball next year? Yes. As you've heard my show all year long, the front seven needs to improve dramatically. Safety play, I think Rashard Torrance had a great year. I have zero problem with our corners, but it's that interior front seven. I think the guy that impressed me the most defensively this year, and he only got a small sample size, is Antoine Powell-Riley. I thought he had a hell of a year.
He did.
I thought he plays extremely hard. He does his job. So they got something to build on there. But they got to go get 3 or 4 or 5 just mean, grown-ass men on the front line. And then find some linebackers that can play as well.
There's a report they got a guy in Louisville that's 6'7", 300. I don't know. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I don't know what to believe, Shane. I just when I show up, we'll know, right?
That's right, buddy. You like my backdrop? Do you see it?
Well, I do. I don't like.
It's kind of hard. Somebody had this somewhere. It says, "Welcome to fabulous Gaines Vegas." Gaines Vegas. So.
Yeah, I didn't see the Gaines part. I thought it said Las Vegas. Yeah, I mean, look. Here's the thing about it. If you're a Gator fan and you've been grinding all year, and Shane, this has been an exhausting season for everybody. Okay, is that maybe you go out to Las Vegas and play the slots, nickel slots, and hang out a little bit and go to the ball game and just be a fan and say, I'm not going to win anything here. Let's go take a look at this game and see what's what. It's kind of a busman's holiday. It doesn't mean anything really, other than the fact it's a nice little W to make it. It means they could go 7-6, which at this point in time, I don't know what the line is, but it's got to be about 2 touchdowns.
It's only 7. They're favored by 7.
Well, I think it's going to be more than that before it's over. But anyway, and so we'll see. Look, it's a bowl game, right? And they're lucky to be in it. We'll find out what they know. Go and enjoy it. And I'd like to enjoy my football season. This has been an incredible last couple of weeks, going through the Jalen Kitna thing and now the ER thing and whatever, and now not knowing who's coming back and players leaving it. And you're right. We've seen the exit. Now let's see the incomings. Let's start seeing the incomings. And we start seeing those, Gator fans can get excited again because it's football year-round on my show and on your show, Shane. We do football year-round. So there's always some story. The story is now who they're going to get. I can't wait to find out.
So, buddy, let me ask you this, because we had a couple of texts on the Titan Mar text line. I've had friends of mine text me, and the text starts out, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
I'm sure you get those too.
Mm-hmm.
And I respond, if you watch the Gators play, you're a diehard Gator.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what the hell's going on. We are 12-13 in our last 25 games.
It's a great stat.
Okay? Yeah. So is there a problem with getting rid of players? Absolutely not, in my opinion. And that's why I try to tell them, You have to trust the way this guy evaluates, he and his staff evaluate talent.
Right.
Because you're not going to sit here and convince me otherwise that the best players on this team this year were responsibly brought in by Billy Napier and his staff. I mean, it's the facts.
I can't deny that. But I understand the fans' perspective. These are guys they've been asked to be loyal to. They supported them. They rooted for them. They cheered for them, stood behind. Now some of them are just disappearing. There's a couple in it, like Derek Wingo was a bit of a surprise. I've talked to Derek Wingo. We've had 20 other players on our show. Really like Derek Wingo as a guy. He's a nice kid, really nice kid. He never quite got over the hump. I thought this might be his opportunity now that Miller's gone. He's gone. So that's fine. If it's not good for them, they have every right to do that. I get the fans' feeling for them, which is what you want them to do. But again, think Junction. Think Junction, but think of doing it the right way, not having a bloodletting, giving some of these kids opportunities to graduate and leave. Josh Braun now is going to be at Arkansas. He's a good player. What you said last night, he didn't quite make the cut or didn't quite make the starting lineup. Doesn't mean he's not a good player, but he just sometimes you're in the wrong system. Shane, you sat there in mothballs for a year till John Reed started giving you reps on the practice squad, and it was him who went to Coach Spurrier. Let's give this guy a chance, right? What would have happened if you hadn't had John Reeves there?
Well, it was 2 years I didn't do anything, and I was going to transfer. Trust me, I'm like these kids.
Yeah.
You want to go play somewhere. Yeah. And again, as I said on your show last night, not only is it the kids making this decision, it's ways coaches can make the decision for them.
Right.
It's a way I can tell Buddy Martin, Buddy, I have this guy who's a true freshman coming in at your position. I'm going to get this guy in the portal at your position. You can stay and you can try to compete.
But you're not going to play.
But you're not my guy. And these two guys are my guys. You may want to find somewhere else to go. And I think that's what people don't understand when it comes to the transfer portal. They think that these kids are just leaving. I personally think they're somewhat being forced to leave. And I just hear it's at every school. Every school.
Of course.
I mean, Ole Miss has done a tremendous job in the transfer portal. They had 12 guys just yesterday go into the portal.
Okay.
So
it's optional. You don't have to, but I'd rather have a coach tell me, you know what, you're not going to play. You can stay here and we won't take your scholarship away. But if that's how you want to finish your career, you just don't have an opportunity. You got to get a lot better. I don't think you're going to get better in time to you help us and suggest if you'd like to go someplace else, we'll help you out. Or if you want to stay and graduate, we'll help you out, whatever. I think Billy's trying to done it the humane way. There's no easy way to tell a player that you don't need him.
Yeah. Ted says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, do you think Billy's a little overconfident thinking he's getting better talent in the portal? Absolutely not. Because I think there are going to be better players that are on this roster next year than what we have. And again, that's my opinion.
Well, he makes a good point, though, because he is saying that in the sense that the grass, your other guys' players look better sometimes than yours do. The grass is always greener to another player. And in the end, it's your confidence and your ability to evaluate players. Look.
Right. But I'm going on his track record. His track record.
No, I'm not saying it's not right. I'm just saying.
Right. And I'm saying, could we miss on some guys that come in?
Sure.
Maybe. But again, folks, what did I just say? We were 12 and 13 in the last 25 games. So, hello. I'll leave it at that. All right, buddy. We know the 14 playoff. And are you in favor of the 14 playoff, or did you want an expansion to 12?
Oh no, I've been for years.
Well, I thought so. And the reason I bring that up is because why has college football been the only sport where you have a committee deciding on a handful of teams that play for a national title? I mean, I know you have a committee that chooses the NCAA baseball tournament. You have a committee that does basketball, but you have a huge field of people that have a chance to win it. And I know that there's dominating teams, but you're not going to sit here and convince me that if they had the 12-team playoff this year, that we wouldn't see some upsets, because I firmly believe it. And it's amazing to me that for all these years, college football is the only sport in the world pretty much that we have a bunch of dudes sitting in a hotel room deciding on who has a chance to win a championship.
Oh, you asked me a question there?
I don't know if it's a question. I'm just rambling.
Okay. Well, here's my opinion. And the reason I've been saying for over 4 years, they need to I thought first 8 was the number. And I've been railing about this on my show for over 4 years. They got to have a fair, more equitable system. 2 is not enough. 4 is not enough. And there's a reason that players are opting out, Shane. As much as you may love the bowls, I may love the bowls, whatever. The fact is they're meaningless. They have no bearing on, really on the championship. And it hasn't been inclusive enough. They had to find a way to be able to include more teams. Even the group of 5 is going to have the opportunity here now. And they studied this thing forever. I mean, they've been meeting since you were a kid in knee pants, and finally they come up with a system where it allows 12 teams to make it, right? So is it the best system? Probably not. But will it be? I mean, there'll be some things wrong with it this time. And there are people who want to go 24. The model was NCAA basketball, which is tremendously successful, as you know. And they wanted to get a group of guys like the selection committee in basketball to help people get over the hump. There's no question they had to do it another way. The BCS wasn't it. Has to be equitable. But the problem is now they've gone to another system. And what is it? 6 and 6, 6 conference champions and 6 highest ranked. Well, those rankings still play a part. That's opinion. I think it's the best that we could come up with at this point, whatever. And now we're going to have a different game. Shane, you talk about postseasons. We talked about the Heisman on my show last night, all this stuff. A lot of things will change based on the new 12-team playoff starting in 2024, and that includes the Heisman. So this is a new way of doing business. I applaud it. I'm ready for it. It's about time. It took them too long, but it is a huge payday for college football. And now the new Big Ten contract is just, the amount of money in college football blows my mind. So, yeah, I think it's a good system. It's as good as we got right now. Let's go for it. I'm ready for it. Basically, it's becoming a junior NFL. We knew that would happen. This is what we got, the transfer portal, NIL, and a 12-team playoff. You better learn to like it.
Yeah, John says when it goes to 12, we'll be arguing about 11, 12, and 13,
of course,
possibly, but at least it gives other teams opportunities.
Yeah.
It's just like the NFL has it figured out. I know they have a smaller number of teams to choose from, but they don't sit there at the end of the year and go, damn, the Buffalo Bills or the Chiefs are the best team in football, and here they are. They're not going to be playing for, in the Final Four.
They've tweaked their system a little bit, over the years. But you're right. They do have a system. It's a lot more unmanageable to have this many teams. I've said, Shane, you remember this, I've said many times, they're going to come out with a super conference, which is what they're doing. Come down to 80, 85 teams, whatever. They're going to have a chance to get there, and the other teams aren't going to have a chance. Group of 5 otherwise. But that's what it is. It's how many eyeballs are on the TV set, how much money comes in, and which teams need to be playing. Some teams don't need to be playing for this, but they're going to have the opportunity in their own league.
Well, that's why even the Power 5 conferences they have now, I have zero problem with. If you win your conference, you're automatically in because it makes you play for something. I don't care. So let's use LSU, for example. If you had the 12-team playoff and the Power 5 conferences got an automatic bid by your conference champ.
Right.
Yes. LSU with 3 or 4 losses, do they deserve to get in? I don't know, but they just won the SEC championship. They deserve to get in. It's no different than when the New York Giants or those wild card teams that have losing records win the Super Bowl. There's no difference. That's the thing that drives me crazy. Are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Dari Weemy, a realtor with Caldwell Banker, in Paris, will value fast, friendly, reliable service. Call her today at 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. A few more minutes here with Buddy Martin on the Titan MR hotline. Let me get to a couple of texts, and I got a couple other questions for you, buddy. This is from an anonymous texter. Says, morning, guys. So what would be a good change to fix the transfer portal that, as we can see right now, can hurt more than Jello? Most kids, they utilize it. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'll start with the transfer portal. I don't have a problem with the transfer portal. You know what I have a problem with, buddy? The
Enforcing
NIL.
it. Yeah.
The NIL.
Yeah.
Because that's what's causing these kids to go in the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. Drake, let's just use Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably, if you asked every coach in America what quarterback they wanted in America, they would say probably Drake May. Okay. Drake May chose to go to North Carolina. He initially committed to go to Alabama. He's at North Carolina. Does Drake May, now that he's played a year at quarterback and had a tremendous year, if you don't have the NIL, is he even thinking about transferring to Alabama for $3 million?
Yeah.
No. I mean, he is now, but that the NIL is the problem at this whole thing. And it's not about the kids getting paid for their jersey sales, the autographs. Y'all have heard my song and dance. It's about just flat out saying, Buddy Martin, the Florida Gators are going to give you $2 million. And then here come the Auburn Tigers. Buddy Martin, we're going to give you $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have a problem with. I just think it's ridiculous and it doesn't belong in college athletics.
All right, Shane, let me read.
I'm in the minority, but I don't really.
I got you. No, you're not really. I don't think. Well, you know who Darren Heitner is? He teaches law.
Yeah, I've had him on my show, but I don't agree with what he talks about.
Well, you'll agree with this. Okay, this is his tweet this morning. He's obviously a Gator Collective guy. He also is a smart guy about this NIL thing. Has been. He says it's been 523 days since the NCAA established an interim NIL policy. The policy prohibits using NIL as a recruiting inducement. NIL is being used for that purpose across the country, and the NCAA has done nothing about it. The NCAA has been rendered powerless at this point. To that we say amen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the NCAA's fault that it's like this.
Whoever they are.
Yeah.
I don't even know anymore.
All right. Real quick, Kenny says on Facebook, best record in the conference should get in. Scrap the conference championship game. You'll never scrap the SEC.
No.
The SEC championship game is bigger than the national championship game.
Yeah, just the division. They're going to get rid of the division, Shane. They're not going to have the East and West anymore.
Right. They're going to take the two best teams, which I agree with that. I totally agree with that. So, and here's the other thing is, and I've kind of known this, but after talking to Gator Bowl people and all these different bowl people during like half times of games where they show up, the fans think that just because the Bahamas Bowl has parents only sitting in the stands or the Cheez-It Bowl, whatever bowl game it is, you don't see great crowds. That has nothing to do with the
TBOs.
It's all about exactly TV. They make so much money off these bowl games. It's ridiculous. And I don't think they're going to go away. I hope they don't. I love the bowls. This is another text here, and we'll get you out of here. It says, Shane, with the mass exodus, this team could be 75% of Billy's guys on the roster next year with transfers and high school signing. Yeah, I agree. I said in year 3, he would have the roster the way he wants it. I don't think he'll have the roster the way he wants it next year, but it'll be much, much closer. All right, buddy, before I get you out of here, I got to get to your Heisman stuff.
Yeah, I know
you're not allowed. I guess you're allowed to tell us who you vote for once they give the award out.
Yeah, I won't tell you what order I put them in, but I can tell you. And listen, I listened to what you said last night on the show. I hear what you're saying. You're not wrong. You can't throw out the regular season. I said this before. We're prisoners of the moment. And I've tweeted back and forth with the guy, Matt Baker of the Tampa Bay Times, about this. I'm concerned that and you said this last night, we've devalued what they did during the regular season. The Heisman is not a postseason award. But again, that won't be a problem in 2 years because if a guy can't get his team to one of the top 12, he's probably not going to win the Heisman. But right now, we had a real difficult decision to make because the guy we thought, and you convinced me of this, that Williams was a walk shoe in. He didn't get it done. And it wasn't his fault. He got injured. So it's hard for me to put a guy out on the ballot when he wasn't standing in the end. But I did. He's one of my 3. And I mean, how could you not love Max Duggan? Duggan. He was what a performance, and it wasn't his fault. Sonny Dykes didn't give him the ball down the last 2 years. They might have won the game. So that certainly factored in. And then I have to go with the former winner. I'm sorry, even though he didn't necessarily he didn't have a great year. He got hurt. He did the best he could for Alabama. And so I had to put him on my ballot. Those are 3 guys. I won't tell you who I voted for, but I got to tell you, it was one of the hardest ballots I've ever had to, and I've been doing this for almost 50 years. One of the most difficult choices I ever had to make.
Yeah, if I was voting, I said it last night on your show. Everybody that's listened to my show ever since I've had it, I've been the biggest Stetson Bennett fan there ever was. I've argued with Buck Belue on his show about how Stetson's clearly their best player for the quarterback position, but I don't think he deserves to go to New York, even though he's had a great year.
He's going. So.
Oh, I know he's going. This is who I. Do you only vote for 3, correct, buddy? Is that how it
correct?
works?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, these are the 5 that would have been in my hunt.
By the way, I did put Bennett on my ballot. I forgot to mention that. But.
Yeah, these would have been my 5. Hendon Hooker. I know he only missed 1 game. Okay, he played in the South Carolina game.
Played great.
He got hurt late 4th quarter, so he only missed 1 game. But he had a phenomenal year. You take Hendon Hooker off that Tennessee team, they are nowhere near the same. Their defense is horrible. Bryce Young had a better year this year than he did last year. If you take Bryce Young off that team, Alabama loses 4 or 5 games. Caleb Williams, who I think should win it and is going to win it, if he's not playing at USC, they are hopefully 6-6. He carried that team. Even though they lost that game to Utah, I don't think that matters. Max Duggan, I agree, had a great year, warrior, competitor, love him. And then I'd have the running back, Blake Corum, I think that's his name, from Michigan.
Got hurt.
He got hurt, but those were the best players in college football this year.
Shane, let me ask you a quick question before you go. All right, so these are things that maybe shouldn't matter, but do, and Caleb Williams, hell of a player. But there are small things that could hurt him. If it got down to 2 or 3 votes, you can't be writing stuff on your fingernails after Utah.
I hear you.
Because that matters to people.
Well, he does that every game.
I don't care. It's not a good look. And I'll tell you something else. The NCAA stopped Tim Tebow from putting John 3:16 on his eye blacks, right? That can't be. You can't let guys put that on their fingernails. That's blatant, and that shouldn't happen. And it could cost him the Heisman Trophy because voters are not going to say, hey, I don't want that guy. He didn't represent what I believe in. I'm not saying that I think it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'm just saying the young man needs to be coached up. That doesn't get it on the fingernails. It doesn't.
No, that's a good point. That's definitely a good point. All right, last text for you on the Titan MR text line from Jimmy says, buddy, do you think the Gators should have declined the Las Vegas Bowl?
No.
I agree.
No, you want a chance to get it. I mean, a chance, maybe not, but yeah, you want to get a chance to get to 7-6 and reward your players who are still there.
Well, here's the thing is people forget the Gators playing out west. That never happens.
Right.
This is an opportunity. I will tell you this because I was at a convention. It was right when Billy was hired, and I was in Vegas for this convention. And on the Strip, there was a big ass billboard that I guess the Gator Nation or the boosters bought that says, "Welcome Billy Napier to the Gator Nation," or whatever it said.
Yeah.
But I was like, "Holy cow! This is in Las Vegas, Nevada."
National brand.
Yeah. So whether you win the game, you lose the game, it's about exposure, and there may be, anyway. Here's what it's a reward.
Yeah.
For the kids that are still on the team.
I agree.
That's what it is.
Yeah. No, I think they should play it.
All right, buddy. Who you got on your program tonight?
David Moulton to give us a national perspective on, on the Heisman and also the playoff, et cetera. And a very knowledgeable guy, works at CBS and has his own show. And then, of course, it's Lauren Meadows, Coach Meadows night. He's always good for a little trivia from Steve Spurrier's Grand Grill. So that's always fun. So we give away prizes.
All right, buddy. Appreciate your time, my man.
Thank you, Shane. That's
Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We'll take a quick time out, come back. Got a ton of texts and Facebook Lives I want to get to. Y'all are stuck with me for the rest of the program, folks. You're watching and listening to Pod Up Matthews in the Morning. Time to pay the bills, and we appreciate all these great sponsors. Our premium sponsors, Crime Prevention Security, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, Comfort Temp, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Odra, Doreen Weeby Realtor. Our touchdown sponsors, Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills, MB Listing, McDonald's Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods, Silver Cube.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points, where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Nike, International Diamond Center, Dave & Buster's, Palmetto Moon, Escape Apology, Visors Rooftop, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, the #1 celebrity polished casual restaurant in America. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Buddy for joining us on the Titanumor Highline. Tomorrow we'll have JC, and then we'll have Mike Morgan from ESPN. He was on the call the other night, Gators versus Stetson, and we'll see who he's got this week. Gators play tomorrow night against the Yukon Huskies. Very, very good team. Van Der says, so Shane, are we going to charter a plane? Where are we going there, Van Der? I'll be on a charter plane on the team plane going to Vegas. So I guess that's what you're asking. Andy says, Shane, if you're Blake Corum, do you rehab and go back to Michigan for another year, or do you go to the NFL? I can't remember. Did he tear his ACL or just have is he just getting scoped? If he's getting scoped, I'd probably go to the NFL. I don't know. That's an interesting question, Andy. I have a text here on the Titanumor text line, and of course, it's from Robert. It's very, very long, and it's regarding quarterbacks. And I think we discussed this earlier. Someone asked me of the people in the portal, who would I want? So here's the people that I think are in play. Drake May's not in the portal. I think everybody in America wants Drake May. I don't know what he's going to do. I think if he leaves North Carolina, I think he will be at Alabama. I think it's Spencer Sanders, who's been a longtime starter out of Oklahoma State, is in the portal. Keaton Slovis, who went from USC to Pitt and now's in the portal. I'm assuming he's going to be a graduate transfer because he would have to sit out a year if he hasn't graduated. He's a decent player, but I think you got Devin Leary from NC State, Michael Pratt from Tulane, Sam Hartman from Wake, and Grayson McCall from Coastal. I think those are more realistic choices for the Gators. Now, the problem is we just don't know what other schools are after those guys as well. So we shall see. Ted says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, were you surprised Dexter is going to the NFL? He seemed inconsistent. Yeah, I think there's more to it. I think he just had a baby. I think he's just wanting to, doesn't matter what round he gets drafted in. I would say, and this is nothing against him, I think he underachieved being a 5-star. I don't think he played anywhere near a 5-star. I know people want to sit here and say he got double teamed, all that. Well, everybody gets double teamed. He just, we'll see. I hope he has a great NFL career. So if people missed it, we have, I think, 4 players that have declared for the draft. AR, Osiris Torrance. Those 2 probably have a chance to be in the first round. You got Dexter and then Justin Shorter. I think Justin Shorter will be a late pick. Personally, he's stiff. Big guy that can run straight line, but doesn't have much of a wiggle. And you better have some wiggle in you to play in the National Football League. So I would guess he goes in the 5th round would be my choice. I would think Ventrell's right around there as well. What's going to hurt Ventrell are his injuries. They're going to look at that medical chart and break it down like you wouldn't imagine. This Day in Sports, I want to get to that because I usually do it late in the show. I want to do it now. This Day in Sports brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat. Schedule your air conditioner's tune-up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Give us a call today at 352-376-2366. Okay. This Day in Sports. Oh, goodness. Where did it go? I'll be dang. I just had it right here. This Day in Sports in 1976, the 42nd Heisman Trophy Award goes to Tony Dorsett, running back for the Pitt Panthers. And that's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Boy, a lot of Heisman trophies were given away on this day. A bunch. So that's our play of the day, or this day in sports, I should say. Yeah, the UConn Huskies are ranked 5th in America, rolling into the O'Connell Center. We'll talk a little bit about it tomorrow. Andy asked on Facebook Live. Actually, it wasn't Andy, it was Nat. Shane, when do you start Orlando? We start mid-January is when training camp starts. Shane, one of Blake's twins at Alabama is in the portal. Do you think he lands it? Oh, I texted Blake the other day. He didn't respond. Maybe that's why. He could land at Texas. Both his boys were highly recruited and went to Alabama. One's a center, one's a left tackle or right. We could play either tackle. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where they go. I might have to call him now. I didn't realize they went into the portal. I should be on top of that. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending, right? Helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today. 352-244-0840. Got a text here on the Titan MR text line. It is from Joe. Joe says, Shane, what did you think of the Monday night game last night? Brady does it again. Yeah, boy, they looked horrible for pretty much the entire game to the last 6 or 7 minutes. I normally don't stay up and watch the entire Monday night game. I go to bed at halftime. But when the damn Manning cast is on, I can't go to sleep. That's all I'll watch because Peyton and Eli are so damn funny to me. And they really talk good football. And you can learn a lot from them, the way that their minds think and how coaches think. But, yeah, it was a great comeback win for the Bucs. I still don't think the Bucs are very good. I think they're old and slow. They're probably going to win their division because it's horrible, but I don't see them going anywhere. They're probably going to get stuck playing like the Cowboys in the first round and get destroyed. Tommy went into the portal. Tommy Brockermeyer, the tackle. He's the better of the two. I don't know. That's interesting. I'll have to look and see. Let's see. I'm not sure what Greg is asking here. Kenny says, do you think there are more than 2 players per team whose decision is affected by NIL money? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So this is how it works now for the big Power 5 schools. They have like slotted dollar amounts for everybody on the roster. So if you're on scholarship, you're getting paid some type of NIL money. I'm just curious what happens is when they have like the starter, let's just say quarterback. This is what we're going to pay a starting quarterback for my school. And then the backup's getting this. Okay. So what happens when the backup goes into the game and plays better than the starter, whether it's for injury or what have you? Do they change that? Because I don't know if this stuff is in a contract. I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure from what I've been told, that's how all the Power Five schools are operating now, is that they have guys that are slotted to make a certain amount of money. So I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, Kenny. Probably not. I apologize if not. I just went into that. And he says, as a longtime ex-NFL QB, what is it about Josh Johnson that keeps him around the league? The 49ers signed him, and that's 14 teams he's been with in the past 13 years. Well, he's played in the league. Boy, he's still playing. I didn't realize the 49ers signed him. He's been in probably a West Coast system because I don't know what the percentage of teams in the league that run the West Coast offense. It's a lot of verbiage. So you got to really be in that system, have some experience. So he's a guy that been around and is serviceable. And the coaches feel like, he's played enough football, they've seen enough tape of him. He probably knows the system, knows the terminology, and that's what it's all about. That's the only reason I lasted, is because I never studied my playbook. I don't think my coaches know that. But I was fortunate. I could look at a play one time and knew what everybody would do. And it wasn't a photographic memory, but not anymore, but back in those days, I could look at that play and tell you what everybody does, and I could say it immediately. I mean, some of those plays are stem to E strike, zine, Z fly, scat 322 Y stick. I mean, that's a long play. That's a West Coast play. So, yeah, somebody asked, a buddy of mine asked me if I thought the 49ers could sign Baker Mayfield, and I said no, because I think Kyle Shanahan is outstanding. I think John Lynch does a great job up in the front office. But what Brock Purdy is, he's solid, he's smart, and with their defense and Shanahan being able to control what Purdy does well, I think the 49ers are still going to be in the hunt. Maybe his experience comes back at some point and hurts them, but I don't think they're going to miss a beat, quite honestly. Kenny says, you nailed the explanation. I didn't realize all scholarship players were getting whatever Gator Collective wanted to set by. It's not Gator Collective, so. Well, it may be. So I think it's a effort by multiple. So we have the Gator Guard and the Gator Collective. From my understanding, the Gator Collective probably has something to do with that, but it's more for all athletes. And it's more for when player X goes and does an appearance somewhere, they're able to pay him some money. When player X does a radio or podcast or a TV interview, they pay him. It's a way for them. I have zero problem with the Gator Collective. I think they do an outstanding job. With the NIL, where it comes for me is I have a problem with kids getting millions and millions of dollars, and it's a bidding war. It's comical to me. I can't stand it. So let's take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this Tuesday edition. You're watching and listening to Pod Up Matthews in the Morning. Time to pay the bills, and we appreciate all these great sponsors. Our premium sponsors: Crime Prevention Security, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, Comfort Temp, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Odra, Doreen Weeby Realtor. Our touchdown sponsors: Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills, MB Listing, McDonald's Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie, Aver and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods, Silver Cube. Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com, 352-240-1779. Again, I want to thank Buddy Mark for joining us on the Titan MR Hotline. I want to thank y'all for participating in the program. And folks, it's going to be crazy today. It's going to be crazy tomorrow. It's going to be crazy the next few weeks. So if you're on Twitter, enjoy it, because it's going to be rumors everywhere and kids jumping in and out of the transfer portal. Hope y'all have a great day. Tomorrow, JC and Mike Morgan from ESPN. Get your basketball questions ready. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Take care.